Hello, my name is Alex, and today I'm here to talk about the trendy and wildly popular ketogenic diet. I've been doing keto for about 8 months, and I thought that it would be really fun for me to talk about it and, give some extra information about it. So, we are going to cover today what the ketogenic diet is in comparison to a standard American diet. We are going to talk about the benefits of the ketogenic diet, and we are also going to talk about what you can and cannot eat on the ketogenic diet. So, before I get started, though, I want to talk about the origin of the ketogenic diet. So, keto was actually created in the 1920s by neurologists who treat children with epilepsy that were non responsive to epilepsy drugs. So, I thought that was really interesting. I didn't know that before I started doing research on the ketogenic diet for this project. But yeah, so now we're going to move on to what the ketogenic diet is and what the standard American diet is so we can compare and contrast the two. So the standard American diet is just what the average American eats every day. Most people stick to, this type of diet, and just when you're not doing a special diet, this is what most Americans eat. That consists of 50% carbs, 35% fat, and 15% protein. So that's just the standard American diet. When I'm talking about carbs, I mean carbohydrates. So that includes things like bread, pasta, wheat products, potatoes, and the big one is sugar. Sugar is the bane of my existence. Before keto, I was definitely a sugar addict, and I think that it's safe to say most Americans today are addicted to sugar. I was raised to think that fat was the enemy, and fat is what caused all of these problems like diabetes and obesity. When the reality is, it's sugar. Sugar is, it causes all of these health problems, and it's just not good for you, and we should really be eating a lot less sugar than we are. But, anyways, when you're on the standard American diet and you're eating all these carbs, basically what happens is after you eat, glucose is released into your bloodstream, and that's what makes your blood sugar spike after you eat some like a meal high in carbs or sugar. So once your blood sugar spikes and the glucose is in your bloodstream and it's being carried to all of your body systems to fuel them, and that's how a body is fueled on just a regular diet. It's with glucose. And that's also how your blood sugar is spiked. Now, with the ketogenic diet, the definition of a ketogenic diet is that it is a low carbohydrate, high fat diet that helps with weight loss, but also has many other health benefits besides just weight loss. Now, when you're saying the word ketogenic and talking about the ketogenic diet, you're actually referring to the term ketosis. Now, ketosis is the metabolic state that's caused by a consistent ketogenic diet. So basically what happens when you decide you want to do the keto diet and you start cutting out all your carbs is your body starts to burn your body fat for fuel. It attacks those fat cells. And then after it starts, you burn out all your glucose that was left over in your bloodstream and you start attacking fat cells, your liver it releases what's called ketones into your bloodstream. Ketones are what fuel your body when you're in ketosis. They play the same role that glucose was playing before. They are carried to all of your body systems, and that's what your systems use for energy, is ketones. So at this point, you might be wondering, how do you achieve ketosis? So like I said before, you're just going to want to cut out as many carbs as you possibly can. The standard ketogenic diet is only 5% carbs in comparison to 50% with the standard American. It's going to be 70% fats and 25% protein. So that's the standard ketogenic diet. You're going to want to stick to those types of percentages in order to achieve ketosis. Depending on what you're using the ketogenic diet for, you're going to want to keep your carb intake under about 30 grams of carbs per day. The standard American diet consumes, anywhere from 200 to 500 grams of carbs every day. So it's definitely a big difference. So now that we talked about what the ketogenic diet is and what the standard American diet is, I want to talk about the benefits of the ketogenic diet. So, of course, the most well-known and common benefit of the ketogenic diet is that it can really help with weight loss. A lot of people use the ketogenic diet for that. However, there are many other uses for it. One of them is it helps manage type 2 diabetes. In fact, there was a study done, and type 2 diabetes patients tried out the ketogenic diet. And 95% of them were able to either really reduce or completely stop taking their diabetes medication, because the ketogenic diet really keeps your blood sugar in check because you're not eating all the sugar and the carbs that make your blood sugar spike. Another benefit of the ketogenic diet is it can reduce your risk for heart disease, which I think is huge. Heart disease is a really big problem in America right now. Another benefit is it can slow the growth of tumors. So a lot of times a doctor will prescribe a ketogenic diet in order, like alongside other cancer treatments, in hopes that it will slow the growth of a tumor. Another benefit is it improves the symptoms of neurological disorders. So I talked about epilepsy before, but it can also help with the symptoms of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And the reason why is because your brain craves healthy fats. And on the ketogenic diet, you're supposed to be eating 70% healthy fats, like the omega-3s, things like avocados, salmon, healthy oils like coconut oil and things like that. And the fatty foods, that's what your brain craves, and that's what your brain wants, is for you to eat a lot of healthy fats. So I think that that's why those can really help with the symptoms of those neurological disorders. Last but certainly not least, my favorite benefit of the ketogenic diet is it can really help increase mood, energy, and alertness. That's definitely the biggest thing I've noticed in keto is I have so much more energy. I'm ready to jump out of bed and get to work, and I really like it. I don't feel so sluggish. I don't go into a food coma after I eat meals anymore. So now that we've talked about what the ketogenic diet is, what the standard American diet is, and what the benefits of the ketogenic diet are, I want to talk about what we can and can't eat on the ketogenic diet. So basically, you're going to want to avoid things like sugar, grains, fruit, beans and legumes, and starchy foods. So, grains are like bread, pasta, quinoa, cereal. Those are all grains. Fruit, there are some berries you can eat on the ketogenic diet. They're very low in natural sugar, high in antioxidants. That'll be really good for you. Things like blackberries and strawberries are excellent for the ketogenic diet. Other than that, you're going to want to avoid fruit because fruit is really high in sugar, unfortunately. I never thought I would miss fruit so much in my life. Also, beans and legumes. So that does include all beans, of course, but also lentils, chickpeas, and regular peas. They can be good for you, but they're really dense in carbs, so you're going to want to avoid those. Those are going to be a no-no for the ketogenic diet. Roots and starchy vegetables, so that includes potatoes, carrots, and parsnips. They're mostly just carbs anyways. There's not a lot of nutritional value to potatoes and carrots. But yeah, you're going to want to avoid those on the ketogenic diet. And of course, most importantly is sugar. Read your labels really carefully because there's hidden sugar in nearly everything. And processed foods. I talk about this a lot to, my friends and everything. If you want to be healthier, you just need to avoid foods that are processed and have all those chemicals and things in them. My rule of thumb when I'm doing keto, and even when I'm finished doing keto and I just want to maintain, healthy and be healthier, you just want to stick to the perimeter of the store because that's where all the fresh, unprocessed foods are going to be. All of the grocery store aisles in the middle are going to be full of all of the processed stuff, full of chemicals and fillers and all kinds of bad stuff. So, on the perimeter of a grocery store is usually like the produce, the meat, the cheese, and the dairy. So that's where you're going to want to stay, especially on the ketogenic diet. That's where you're going to find a lot of the foods you can eat is in the perimeter of the store. So, you're going to want to eat things like meats, cheeses, eggs, butter and cream. There are some nuts and seeds that are okay on the ketogenic diet, like almonds, macadamia nuts. Also, when you're cooking, you're going to want to use healthy oils such as olive, coconut, and avocado oils. And, of course, produce, you're going to want to stick to things that are green and leafy for the ketogenic diet. Now, I don't know about you, but I have to have cream and sugar in my coffee, so the first thing I did when I decided I wanted to do keto was figure out what sweeteners I can use. So those includes things like stevia and monk fruit, and then there are a couple of sugar alcohols, which is basically a sugar derivative, but it doesn't have any carbs in it. So the good ones for keto are erythritol and xylitol. The bad ones that can make your blood sugar spike are maltitol, dextrose, and maltodextrin. They don't have any carbs in them technically, but they can still make your blood sugar increase, which is what you want to avoid on the ketogenic diet. So today we talked about and we learned about the ketogenic diet, what it is, the standard American diet, what the benefits of the ketogenic diet are, and what you can and cannot eat on the ketogenic diet. And I hope this was informational, and I just want to end on a quote from an author named Sarah Sparrow. She wrote a book about keto. She said that carbohydrates are not absolutely necessary to keep your body and mind running. In fact, you may find that your body actually prefers to use fat for energy. Thank you.